Gukesh versus Ding Liren. A truly historic World Chess Championship has seen Gukesh scale the summit and become the world champion at the age of 18. But not many people are happy with this. One of the individuals who's always been in the news for all the wrong reasons in the recent past is former world champion Vladimir Kramnik. Vladimir Kramnik, if you look at it, even in the chess Olympiad, had raised an issue about the use of mobile phones, and he had raised an issue against one of India's broadcasters at that time, Chess Base India. Now, after the World Championship ended, Vladimir Kramnik has now come out with some tweets which kind of makes it difficult to wrap your head around. Because after the end of the match, Vladimir Kramnik stated, "No comment, sad, end of chess as we know it." Then he's added in that, never yet world championship title was decided by childish one move blunder. Now, as far as this comment is concerned, one struggles to understand why Vladimir Kramnik would do this. Because many people say, oh, it continues his hatred for India that is there. But actually, Vladimir Kramnik is misunderstood in a lot of ways. He loves India. He loves Indian chess players. I mean, Gukesh, Pragnananda all benefited by a 1-hour session that Vladimir Kramnik had with them. Now, we all know that Vladimir Kramnik is a very old school kind of guy. He wants to play by the rules and all these kind of things. But he can become critical in a way which may not be digestible for a lot of people. So, end of chess as we know it. Never yet world championship title was decided by childish one move blunder. But in there, Vladimir Kramnik unfortunately missed one very, very important point. Because in one of the world championship matches that happened in the 19th century, Wilhelm Steinitz was there in that. His opponent made a big blunder, and because of that, Steinitz managed to win the world championship. But yes, at that time, it was close to 20 plus games in a world chess championship. It was huge. So that is why when you look at it, long tournament, one move blunder can happen. But in the 19th century, for people to remember that, it might be difficult. So people did add context that yes, in one of the world championship encounters between William Steinitz and in 1892, the same one move blunder had happened. But Vladimir Kramnik also has been guilty about cursing this current world championship, because in one of the tweets that he said, this was probably game number 5 or 6 at that time, he stated, "No recap today, pardon, I was supposed to comment on the world championship, sorry for harsh but true words. This level of play of opponents has nothing in common with world chess championship. Maybe next time." This particular last line is a bit of a problem. This level of play of opponents has nothing in common with world chess championship. How can you avoid repetition? At first, complete misjudgment of the position after to change queens instead of queen g5 with big advantage is incomprehensible for the world championship match level. I am just being honest. I am sure top players think the same but prefer not to tell to keep likes. Now, even Garry Kasparov and even Magnus Carlsen has stated that yes, the level of play that should be there. Gukesh has not beaten the best player on the planet to ensure that he is the world champion. Magnus Carlsen voluntarily withdrew from the world championship because he knew that this format was not appealing. He wanted a change, and that's why he voluntarily withdrew. But then does it justify all the other comments later on? Vladimir Kramnik in particular, he also appreciated one game, by the way, just for the balance. He appreciated was a very decent world championship game today for a change. Not without mistakes, but those weren't so unforced as in some games before. This one was good level in general. Now, Vladimir Kramnik, when you look at it, I can understand from where he is coming from, because he played with the legends whose games were simply superior. Look at that era in which he played under. Anand, Karpov, Kasparov, all of them had raised the level and standard of chess to the next level. Kramnik had to beat the very best out of it to ensure that he was there. So, when you look at it, Kramnik had beaten Kasparov to become the PCA champion. But then that was an ununified championship that was there. From 2000 to 2006, he was supreme. When FIDE unified in 2006, at that time he beat Topalov. Then in 7 and 8, when you look at it, when he challenged Anand, Kramnik was comprehensively beaten in that. One really struggles to understand why Kramnik has got so much of a problem. Is it because he's a stickler for the rules and because of the quality that he played against? In this era, the quality has diminished? Maybe, maybe not. But remember, Magnus withdrew out of his own will. No one forced him to withdraw. And that is why this is a big, big problem. The hate towards Kramnik will only come on. But it is very important to note that most of the time what Vladimir Kramnik says gets lost in the broader meaning of it. There is no hate personally that Vladimir Kramnik has for Indian chess. He loves Indian chess. But at this point in time, I think the comments were rather ill-timed. So time management became an issue even for Vladimir Kramnik also in this case. Do you think his criticisms are justified? You can write to us in the comments below. Thank you so much folks for joining us for this video. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis.